Hey YouTube, American Family Blog. We are here and I'm going to give you a very brief not demonstration, but kind of a show and tell as to what we have going on for our power system. We have our single 100 watt solar panel, which is run from the solar panel into a charge controller that I purchased on eBay for $35 directly from Hong Kong, which is this little guy right here. And from here it goes into two deep cycle batteries, which I bought at Walmart, and I think I spent $90 a piece on them, but they came with an 18-month warranty, so I was able to save my receipt. And I expect in another 6 months or so probably we'll need to be getting another set, and I'll be able to get another set of batteries for nothing. The charge controller, normally what you do is you go into the charge controller from the solar panel, and there's a line out to the batteries and there's a line out for your load. This is, I believe, a 30 amp charge controller, which it doesn't look like something that would be able to handle 30 amps to me, but anyways. I actually do not do it that way because for whatever reason this thing has some kind of like timer on it, and if the battery voltage drops too low because we're using some pumps or whatever in the camper, it will reset this thing and turn it off. So because we have motorized, the pumps in the camper, and we've got the little solenoid valves in the refrigerator and the water heater, those things don't necessarily take 12 volts and a whole lot of current to operate. The pump does, but the thing is you can operate those things with less voltage and it doesn't really hurt them, unlike a lot of your digital electronics and stuff like that. So instead of running my load off from the inverter, I am still running my load directly off from the batteries. But this thing does help regulate the charge for the batteries. And I think that's all we got. Excuse the mess. I've been messing around with our 100 pound propane tank that we just recently got. And I think we'll go inside now. Alright, so in here what I did is I hardwired just a regular Walmart El Cheapo inverter. You can get these. We had one that was, I think it was like a 750 watt inverter, and that crapped out on us. So my brother had one that he wasn't using, so he basically gave it to us. So we have a 400 watt inverter in here that's hardwired into the electrical panel.
I'm gonna hang on a second.
So it's hardwired into the electrical panel. And right now what we do is if we want to watch TV or run something, we just essentially run an extension cord to the inverter. That would be 110. I have thought about, and I haven't done this, but I have thought about essentially disconnecting like the circuit breakers here, or turning them off, and running parts of the camper directly off from the inverter as far as the AC outlets are concerned. And how I do that is just have a two male end extension cord that would plug from the inverter into a wall socket. I haven't done that because we really don't use that much 110 at all, and when we do, it's like for TV late at night or something like that when we're going to bed. That's basically all we use 110 for. If I'm doing a little bit of guitar playing or recording or something like that, I might use it.
Occasional battery charging too.
Occasional battery charging. We just don't really use that much 110. When people are wondering how much power we use and stuff like that, that's one of the reasons why we did a camper instead of a trailer. Because we had an income tax return and we were discussing the benefits of both. And the benefits of having a camper is you're wired for DC and you're wired for AC. And everything in here we can operate off from 12 volts, except for like a TV. Ooh, like we need a TV. You know, we've got cooking, we've got refrigeration, freezer, fans, lights, hot water, water pressure. Everything we need can come directly off from a 12 volt system. And if we went with the trailer, we'd have to have a 110 volt system, something that would operate water pumps, and we'd have to get a well drilled and everything else. So it really, the reason why we got a camper is because we can live with less power in one.
And the solar panel provides essentially all the power that we need, unless we have, you know, a series of cloudy days. And
Yeah.
during the winter time it's a little more difficult because the position of the sun makes it difficult for the solar panel to soak up enough energy.
Yeah. One thing we'd like to get is one of those little 300, 400 watt wind turbines, because when we do have cloudy days, there's usually pretty good winds that come. And if we had one of those, we would be able to probably not even use the generator during the winter time. Or if we did, it would be really, really rare. The downside with the camper is you do have to run the pump. The pump operates, I think, like 20 or 30 watts, something like that. We purchased some LED camper lights before we moved into the camper from Hong Kong. We spent like $40 on a bunch of different types. You can get them cheaper through eBay than you can from your RV store, but we can give you an example of how they are. This light up here, and we've had some, okay, it probably looks pretty decent on the camera right now when you guys are viewing it. And two of these things would give you plenty of light to, you know, comfortably read a book on the table or whatever. And I think I paid like $4 for that particular light. $3, $4, something like that. I got some flies in here. I think we'll bump them. The first batch we got were like these guys right here. And if Naomi can get you...
It's a lot fainter.
Yeah, those are...
They really don't provide much light.
They don't provide much light. And when we first installed them, because I bought like 12 of them for like $2 a piece, and when we put them in, it was like, because we still had the camera parked at our house, and we look out and we just had the lights on. It's like, oh my word, it looks like a UFO is like, you know, abducting people through their tractor beam or whatever. It's just, it was really eerie, and you come out and you almost want to puke because it was just like,
it was blue.
You can't, yeah, it was like this blue, I don't know, it was horrible anyways. So we're like, well, maybe if we mix them incandescent and LED or whatever. But we really don't use that much for light either. We keep this one particular light on basically all of the time, and it lights up. I mean, you can see all around the camper with that one light. It's just that if you're really wanting to read a book or something like that, you might want a little bit more, so your eyes don't get strained out. But we don't really use that much for lighting. And during the winter time, we would a lot of times bring in the lanterns just for the nostalgia of it, and also for the heat, you know, heat purpose of them. So they would be able to give you a little bit of comfort lighting and heat. Let's see. I don't know. Is there anything else we need to cover? I say I play guitar. I play electric guitar, and one of the other things is I have a system. I can show you. This is how I have a hobby and keep it low volt or low watts. I don't have a guitar amp, but all of my guitar stuff is right in here. So I have a line 6, and this thing runs at about 20 watts. and I have my Zoom recorder, which I'd recommend it for anybody getting if they do any kind of recording and want something cheap. That thing can run for hours off from like 6 AA batteries. So, not saying that I run it off from 6 AA batteries, but
you have been.
It doesn't take any power at all. I mean, the thing can be USB powered, and it just doesn't take much electricity. So, you know, either I run through some speakers for a computer, which are like 5 watts or whatever, and I run all my stuff through my vocal and my guitar. I run through the line 6, so 20 watts, and I have my guitar amp, my vocal amp, and another, you know, 3 or 4 watts for my recording, mixing and stuff like that. You know, so like under 30 watts I can have a full setup going. I do have a guitar amp, but I never use it.
But that means you can run it off the inverter on pretty much any day without sucking a whole lot of power. Straight from the solar panel.
So, we've got whiny kids in bed right now.
The computer is a little bit more difficult to charge. It does suck a little bit more power.
Computer's like 70 watts or something like that. It's kind of ridiculous.
So, and we've of course been having problems with the battery charging at all, but I still run it off the inverter, and for the most part I can get enough power to keep it going until my Friday night blogging session elsewhere.
Daphne, I told you to be quiet.
I think that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, of course, if we've forgotten anything, we're both kind of tired, but if you have a question about power, you can definitely ask us.
It's been like
we'll get back to you.
90 something degrees here. I mean, we're up north, but it still does get hot. And we're in the middle of the field, so it even gets hotter.
We soak up the heat. There's no shade from the trees, really.
But
anyways.
alright.
Have a good night.
See ya.